Support for Music Money University and the following message are brought to you by TuneCore. Do you want to take your career to the next level and start making money from your music? The good news is all you need is a digital distributor. TuneCore is dedicated to helping independent artists get their music in over 150 digital stores and streaming services in over 100 countries worldwide. And the best part is, they never take a cut of the money they collect for you. No label, no catch, no barriers to selling your music worldwide. Take control of your career and get 20% off your first upload on TuneCore by clicking the link in our show notes. Welcome to Music Money University, where you learn in-depth strategies on how real artists, musicians, and entrepreneurs earn a full-time income in the music business. I am your host, Omari, and today on our show we have Tami LaTrell. Tami LaTrell is a multi-platinum, Grammy-nominated songwriter with Sony and ATV Music Publishing, who's written for artists such as the late Whitney Houston, Keisha Cole, SWV, and Monica, to name a few. She is a music advocate and is also the Chief Marketing Officer for The Labs, a music tech startup that helps creators collaborate and protect their work in one workspace. She also holds membership with the Recording Academy, ASCAP, and is a founding member of Women in Music Atlanta. Get more info at TamiLaTrell.com. Tami, welcome to Music Money University.
Thank you for having me. How are you?
I'm doing well. Thanks for being here. So, Tami, the way we like to kick things off on our show is dive right into the numbers. And that's for a couple of reasons. One, if we don't have any numbers, we're just talking opinions and theory. And we want to give the people our report on our results and not just our opinions. So tell us how much you make each year in your music career, your music business, the breakdown of where the revenue is coming from, whether that be merchandise, film licensing, songwriting fees, touring, etc., and which marketing methods have worked best for you to generate this income.
Well, thank you for having me. So we are in the ever-changing music business, which means that year to year, our salaries may fluctuate and change. I'm also an entrepreneur. So from working with the labs and making, a great salary, on an average, I range about 80 to 100,000 a year since I've left and become an entrepreneur. But I have several different things that allow me to be able to make that type of income. One of the income sources is my business investments. I left corporate America back in 2017, and I had investments that allowed me to be able to generate income from what I already had in my savings account. And so that has allowed me to be able to invest more, to move money around. I, have even created opportunities to be able to take some of that money out and put it in other investments. In addition to that, I charge consultations for a lot of people who are trying to understand the business of music. If you go to my YouTube channel at youtube.com/Tami LaTrell, I teach a lot of workshops on the business of music, publishing, music licensing, understanding split sheets, copyright, and so forth. I also have a publishing company called The Mezzo. And what we do is we license and maintain catalogs for a lot of songwriters and producers. And we've done quite well in revenue over the last year. One of our producers actually went platinum and had gold certifications with the RIAA on his work on Queen Naja's album, young kid out of New Jersey. And it was just a total surprise. We had no clue that his first placement would take him to platinum status. And so we were able to obviously collect his royalties for that and be able to reap some of the benefits. In addition to that, I am a songwriter. And so all of my catalogs, all of the catalog that I have, it does generate income as well from different royalties internationally and domestically. I will say international does pay more, just mainly because they're not doing a lot of, streaming compared to what we do domestically. So we still are reaping the benefits off of, full albums that are like physical copies overseas, like in Japan and China and so forth. So I've been able to sustain off of some of those royalties in addition to licensing opportunities for some of my songs. And in the Mezzo also, we placed a few songs on Sunday's Best, as well as Tyler Perry's Medea's Family Funeral this year that came out in March. And then the last thing that also helps to generate revenue for myself is the labs. The labs is where I serve as chief marketing officer, and it is a music collaboration tool that allows for songwriters, producers, and music creators to be able to collaborate in one space while we track and protect their work. In addition to that, it generates split sheets at the end of their session. So, if you and I were in the studio, you're a producer, I'm a songwriter, and you would actually invite me into your lab's workspace, and I could listen to your track inside of that workspace, upload my lyrics. I can even sing audio in it. I can chat with you. And at the same time, all of the work that you're contributing and the work that I'm contributing helps to, create our song, but it's all tracked, and it's backed by blockchain technology. So there's no, all of a sudden, we don't know who contributed what. It automates your splits and ownership as well. And so from that, we've been able to garner a lot of signups from not just individuals who are music creators, but also from universities. We recently just locked in Morehouse University and their music program, along with other universities throughout the country that are currently in our pipeline.
Cool. I'm a Morehouse grad myself, class of 13.
Awesome.
Yeah. So, okay, let's break that down a little bit more for, the general audience, because not everybody knows what blockchain is. A lot of people listening, maybe that went over their heads. So, okay, I go into this platform and I have, let's say, you and I'm a producer, you said you're a songwriter, and then we have the split sheet, right? So most people know what a split sheet is, X percentage of the work, I did X percentage of the work, and any money that comes in, we'll split it in this percentage.
Yes.
But let's take that to like a practical solution. Do you guys go all the way down the pipeline, such as like YouTube revenue?
No, we don't. We actually don't collect royalties at all. And I think that's the misconception. We are a collaboration tool that allows you to create, and your work is protected while you're creating. So what that means is you and I are in a session, we're creating, and our work is protected in our own workspace, so that when we do go to the next phase of the song, which is, maybe we sold the song and now it's time for splits from the record label or from the indie artist, and they want to record the song. We have everything documented in one workspace, because everyone has their own, each song has its own project. And so from there, those splits can be carried over, as well as the timestamp, the tracking, the metadata, and so forth is carried over to the next phase of it, whether it's going to distribution for royalties to be generated once it's released, or whether it's going to a record label so that they then can work with their artist, and maybe the artist wants to write a verse to it, or maybe they want to change some of the lyrics. We are at the genesis of creation. We work with the creators to make sure that their work is protected before it actually leaves their hands to go to the next phase of development or distribution.
Okay. So it makes the documentation process kind of just seamless. For the artist.
Absolutely. Seamless documentation. Everything is all in one space. And there's no question on who did what, because it literally tracks every single behavior that is being performed within that workspace.
Okay. So how did, I'm just curious, if you're able to disclose, how did Morehouse College use that technology for their
music program? We are providing the tool for their students, so that their students not only can create inside of the tool, but they also are learning how to protect their work. And it does it for you, so it kind of doesn't feel like you're like a documentarian, so you're in the studio, you're working, and you're in the platform. So, someone's uploading the music, you're listening to the audio through your headphones, whether you're listening through your computer or your headphones on your phone, and then you're contributing your work, your lyrics, your melodies, your harmonies, whatever, inside of that tool. And from there, you're able to transform it, and even transform it into a full song with splits and everything already documented. In addition to that, it teaches creators and students how the importance of protecting their work, so that they can kind of understand that it's a part of the creation process. And I think that is the misconception and the misunderstanding that students and music creators have, is just they think that they're just supposed to create, and then it's like, oh my God, how are we going to document this? Man, this conversation is a little awkward to sit here and talk about split sheets. And that's how that conversation sometimes never happens, because people are so excited about the creativity that they don't want to kill the energy and start talking about business, you know? And so we're just trying to make that process a little bit more centralized in one space by assisting them while they're working. It's tracking, it's automating the splits. And so the universities use that as a tool for their students in their music programs, as a part of, you know, it's a part of their tuition. You know, it's a part of what goes within that program, just like you would, you know, buy books for your class. So it's, you know, a great tool to have for music programs in schools, because, you know, we're starting at their learning phase of trying to understand how to produce music, but now they're also learning not only just how to produce it, but also how to protect it.
Okay. All right. I think that'll clear it up for everybody. That makes sense. Okay, cool. So you've also mentioned like your songwriting credits.
Mm-hmm.
And you said that's still a portion of what you do. Like, how big of a portion is that of what you currently do? Or was that something a little bit in the past?
I still generate royalties quarterly. And I'm signed with a major publishing company, so they collect globally for me. And like I mentioned earlier, I do get a lot more money from international royalties. I'll just give you a number. At one time, we were making about, let's say, $30,000 a quarter when there were, you know, at the peak of, let's say, the Whitney Houston record, which was like back in the day, like 2001. But as time has passed, that income decreases, and you may be in the lower 5 to, I would say from 5 on up to maybe 8,000 compared to how it used to be, just because no one is buying records anymore. Royalties are substantially low. So you may make what you may make in 1 year. What you may have made in 1 quarter back in the day, you're probably making in 1 year now. You see what I'm saying? You know, a number, like I was saying, about 30,000, and we would make that in 1 quarter. Now you probably make 30,000 in 1 year, you know, from royalties like that, because there's no one no one's buying physical copies. Streaming numbers and royalties are very slim to none, because every DSP pays out differently, and every streaming provider, like your Spotify's and your Tidal and your Apple Music, they all pay different royalty rates, and those royalties are also broken down separately 2 different ways. So it's completely a different landscape for music creators out there, from your most popular and well-known songwriters and producers on down to your, you know, newly signed writers and producers. And a lot of them, unfortunately, on the new side, were not able to reap the benefits of how physical sales really did well for us. You know, you're talking about a whole album for $16.99, $9.99, you know, $12.99. Whereas now we're just on a single download of 99 cents, if people even download anymore, you know. And so it has substantially gone down. There's not one person in the industry that could tell me that they are making quadruple the amount of what they were making back in the day, because we're just not even on the same system, nor are we in the same landscape.
Right. Yeah. The whole scene is just changed so much to where if you do want to make the same income, you'd have to adapt to just doing something that doesn't exactly mirror what the old one was.
Yeah, I mean, I've even gone to the point of working on sites like, you know, Sound Better, and different sites that cater to the indie artist, the indie songwriter producer, where you can generate income just working directly with people who may not know you, but they inbox you and say, hey, you know, I like your credits. Can you write a song for my daughter? Or can you write a song for, you know, kind of like a Fiverr program where you actually find a writer or a producer of your liking, and you contract them out to be able to write songs directly without having to go through a publisher and go through a manager. And so those tools are great for a lot of songwriters and producers who are still looking for work, that are actively trying to work. But yeah, the landscape, like I said, is totally different, and you really have to hustle. And that's my mission right now. I'm just on a paper chase. We're building this brand.